6th of October was Friday, normal day, a bit of cooking, the usual stuff, Erev Shabbat, Erev Chag. Shabbos morning, I actually didn't go to shul early. Normally I do, but I'm in Avilut, mourning for my father still. And I decided it wasn't appropriate for Simchat Torah to go too early, so my husband went off to shul and he came back in time to make a small kiddush at around 10:15. He didn't say a word until after, and he then said, there's been some security alert in Israel, and we've been advised in the shul to stay indoors, not to stand outside and congregate. So I got myself ready, and we went back together to the shul, and I was greeted with a lot of friends, Chag Sameach, but not so much. And a lot of people seem to already have a lot of knowledge about details. Apparently my nephew himself actually had left the shul already and had gone to get his gear and his gun, etc. And there was a very unusual feeling. It was a very strange feeling. We really weren't sure what was going on. There were a lot of rumors, everyone was saying something, but it was Chag and it was Shabbat. And sort of afterwards it dawned on me, how did everybody know so much information? But suddenly during the service there was phones pinging, and we realized that something was really not okay. We went back to my daughters, my two girls, to have lunch with them and all the grandchildren, and everyone was very distressed what was going on. We heard that 10 people had been kidnapped, there was a number of soldiers kidnapped, there were a number of injuries, even killed, until after Chag. Put the news on and complete shock. And basically the first 2 weeks were like complete, nobody knew what was next, what was happening. If the sirens could go off in different places, then maybe Netanya would be affected. So we all closed our, mamad, the safe room, the window, and we're waiting to see what was going to be next. My nephew had straight away went off. My other nephew, they're twins, he's already in the army. So one went for reserves and the other one's already there. We didn't have any contact, we weren't sure what was going on. My son-in-law received Tzav Shmoneh, which is also a call-up in time of war. He's more in logistics, so he went off to the office and left my daughter with her lovely big family. And that was it, basically. All my friends have all got kids. It was a very distressing time, very, very nerve-wracking. Nobody knew what was going to be next. I actually went to donate some money myself to a friend, and I was asked to call her sister. So I spoke to her sister, and her sister said they were starting off a centre that was going to be open with second-hand clothes, toys, all kinds of donations, possibly food. They weren't really quite sure yet what was going to take place. And was I able to help? Would I be willing to help them? So the first thing that happened really was, before the food issue, I said, okay, we've now got all these clothes, but if people have left their homes in a hurry, they're going to need the fundamental things, which is underwear. They're going to need knickers, they're going to need boxer shorts, children are going to need socks, pants, whatever. So the head of who was in charge then at the time, the head, a lady called Marbel, she asked me, Marbel Feiner, she asked me, what do you think we should do? And I said, let me see if I can raise some money. Perhaps I can raise some money towards buying some underwear. So I called to my friend Deborah Nathan. She's had some experience with fundraising, and very kindly was able to use her bank account. And we put out a post on Facebook and on through WhatsApp, friends and family. And suddenly within 2 days, we received something like 2,500-3,000 shekel, which doesn't sound like a lot of money, but wow, we can use that in Israel. That was amazing. And we straight away went out shopping. Took the trolley to the local store, filled it up with underwear, boxer shorts, pants, knickers, socks, and we took it to the centre, and they were overwhelmed. It was It was really a very, very trying time for everyone. Everyone was very on edge. Nobody really knew what was next. People had kids in the army. People had family who were affected even more so. And we felt that this was something that could help. And we eventually opened actually a campaign through Israel Gives. And we've raised something near to 90,000 shekel. And we've just been buying and buying and buying. And eventually we were buying dried goods, pasta, tuna, tinned corn, all these kind of things people were coming in, taking packages like a food parcel. Plus the clothes. I was able to help with the money. I was able to help a young woman from Sderot. I never actually met her myself. I didn't meet her. But she was due to give birth. She'd given birth in Netanya. And her home had been hit by a rocket. And she'd lost everything that she'd prepared for the Brit. So I gave her money, and she went out and bought herself a new outfit, bought the baby an outfit, and anything else that she needed. And from the centre, she was able to take a care package. We're still actually buying nappies, baby formula, baby wipes, creams, toothpaste, talcum powder, all these things, shampoo. So we put together a lovely care package, and she received that, as do, even to this day, as much as I can do with the money that I'm still receiving, we put together a care package, and people from the south and the north, anyone now mostly from the north is receiving. The other day we gave shampoo and toiletries, etc. to people. Apart from obviously just the underwear and the dried goods, we've also managed to help soldiers. We've put together packages for soldiers for Hanukkah. Within the package there was snack bars, protein bars, and of course a pair of socks or underwear or boxer shorts. There were also, we've sent money from the donated money, obviously. We've sent money to various different groups of people that were in the hotels from the south, just to keep them occupied. Knitting chug, a sewing chug, like an activity group that could use these materials, wool and sewing, threads, etc., to keep busy. And the people from the south came with nothing. A lot of them came with nothing. They were lost everything. They were very traumatized, and they needed. Not only do they need intense emotional therapy, but also mental stimulation. They need something to keep their minds off what they've been through and to move forward. A lot of them have lost loved ones. A lot of them have still cared, loved ones that are hostages now. Recently, we sent some money from the donated money. We sent some money to a soldier who actually has been diagnosed sadly with cancer, and he needed his apartment painted up and made more accessible for him. So I took some money from the donated money and sent it off to help the soldier, which I know anyone who's donated is only going to be too happy to know that the money's gone to good use. Actually, I have a nice story. My youngest daughter runs a gemach for head coverings. And at the beginning of the war, there were so many young women who literally came to Netanya from the south with just what they were wearing. Some of them came in pajamas. So she put together a package of very pretty headscarves for anyone who required. Some people were staying in the hotels in Netanya, some in Wingate in Netanya, which is like a sports center. And she had somebody came over and they picked them up and they delivered them. She received some beautiful messages. In fact, there was a lot of ladies who decided they wanted to cover their hair for the first time since the war. I've actually heard all kinds of stories. People started to keep Shabbat, to light candles. In fact, I've always, thank God, lit candles, but I myself am lighting 2 extra candles, hopefully to help the any women hostages who aren't able to light for themselves. I today read somebody is actually asking if when men later fill in, if they can just have a thought for some of the hostages who aren't able to put to fill in on themselves. Very heartbreaking stories, but very enlightening stories as well. In fact, there is a beautiful poster. in the entrance near Iyamim in Netanya, with a young man with tattoos all over his arms, and he's covering his eyes and saying Shema. And I saw a post today, somebody asking how many people say Shema, how many people know the words to the Shema. I think people are slowly realizing that possibly we need to change, something needs to change. My donations of boxer shorts to the soldiers, I recently received a message from a mum who said that she was doing the laundry of her soldier son, who had returned home after many, many weeks, and she looked in his laundry and there are piles of boxer shorts that she realised that she had not bought herself, and she realised they were donations, and she remembered that I had been collecting money for underwear, and she sent me a lovely message that thank you so much for looking after him, and I'm assuming that the money that you've collected to thank you for all the donations again were well received, and she said he's now got an extra 25 pairs of boxer shorts in his drawer. At one point, I took a few friends to the centre. They wanted a volunteer just to fold clothes. And a lovely friend stood there in tears. And I said, are you okay? And she said, I can't believe I'm looking at people with kippot on and girls in jeans and just in vest tops. And everyone's working together and everyone's helping each other. And that's what Am Yisrael is. That's what we're all about. The amount of people that I have met in the last 4 months, people that I probably would never have met. Being religious, I would never have come across some people. And there's been donations of sleeping bags and donations of blankets. Somebody phoned me up on a Motzei Shabbat and she said, I hope I haven't disturbed you, but I want to give some money. Can you go and buy blankets? She said, and take a photograph afterwards. And I went out the next morning and I bought 50 blankets and we sent them off to the soldiers in the north who are literally freezing. I think for people out of Israel, they don't realise that Israel can get really cold in the winter. And the last 2 weeks, we've had some very rainy winter, very rainy weather. So hopefully everything that we buy and that we send out is really, really well used and necessary. It's a good feeling to be able to be basically the shaliach, that's exactly what I'm doing. The money comes in and it goes out. And I'm always, all the time, trying to see if there's any other location, somebody else needs some help. There are some things that I saw this morning. There's a group of pregnant women whose husbands have been kidnapped. And if they'll ever see them again, they don't know. And they're due to give birth in another month or two. It's 9 months pregnancy. And they were pregnant. They were right at the beginning of a pregnancy. And now they're at the end of their pregnancy. And they haven't seen their husbands for 4 months. They've gone through this pregnancy, maybe some with children, some first pregnancies. And I saw something. I hope I kept it on my phone. And it said they're trying to collect money. And I thought, I'll take some money and I'll send it. It's just endless. It's endless. It's very sad. I've never been a person that reads Tehillim. But from that Shabbat, I went home and I took a Tehillim book that I actually found in my parents' house. But I took one from my parents' house and I opened it and I read the whole of Yom Shabbat. And I have done so ever since the war, every Shabbat afternoon. And it's become like, one time I didn't do it, I had the flu, and I was like, oh, I should have done it. I missed out on it. And I try every day now to read something and join Simon's. What will be in the future, I don't know. Personally, in my generation, I don't know if anything's ever going to change. I'm now coming up 62. I don't think in my lifetime it's going to be anything great. Maybe by the time my grandchildren are grown up.
You're talking in terms of security and peace?
I think we're going to be in a roller coaster for a while. There may be quiet, but we're in the aftershock. Whatever the people down south have been through, Am Yisrael as a whole in Israel has been through it, and Am Yisrael out of Israel has been through it. And I don't know. I feel that we're all changed. We're a traumatized people. We're a majorly traumatized people, and I don't think we can recover that